Getting it going. What's going on, Talkadot family? Welcome to this week's AMA session. Ask Me Anything. If you are not familiar with the AMAs, we do these pretty much every single week to make sure that you are never a week away from getting the support you need in whether you're using Talkadot, following up with folks with Talkadot, speaking general questions that you might have. A lot of times there are some how abouts, yeah, buts, what ifs that show up for us. And we at Talkadot genuinely as a value care very, very deeply about your success with our tool, with your business. And that's why we do these sessions. So the way these are set up, if you're unfamiliar with them, there is no format. The way that it works is we're here specifically to answer questions for you. So if you have a question, all you have to do is click on the reactions feature and put the raise your hand, which is right there. And if you raise your hand, it'll put you into a queue. And as you get put into that queue, we'll go through the questions and answer all of those as much as we can. Before we jump into that, couple important announcements. If you are unaware, this Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, we're doing a Talkadot Pro training on how to best plan at the end of the year to set yourself up for success in 2024. We're going to have some really, really great topics on videos, on websites, on planning, on how you make decisions on what you should do. This is going to be a really great high-level strategy that I think is going to be really, really helpful to make sure you get the best out of 2024. So make sure to come for those. In addition to that, some of you may have heard the news. If you've not heard the news, allow me to share it with you. For some of you, if you've already heard it, it will not be shocking. For some of you who haven't heard of it, it may be shocking, but it is all good, positive news. So our incredible, wonderful human being, Mike Mays, who's been our customer success person for pretty much a year and a half now, has gotten an opportunity to work with his wife. And because of all the incredible hours and work that he's done with Talkadot, he's not been able to do as much as he'd like to with his family front. And since family is a huge value of ours, we're very much supportive of him being able to do the incredible work that he does along with his wonderful, wonderful wife. So though we are sad to see Mike go on to that opportunity and no longer be our head of customer success here at Talkadot, don't worry, we got your back. We have been planning very, very incessantly to make sure that you won't have an interruption in your service. So you'll be meeting someone new named Bree Myers, who is absolutely incredible, who's absolutely a doll. I don't think anyone could ever replace Mike, and nor would we want anyone to replace Mike. What I would want us to do, though, is to give the same love and care and respect that we've built and given to Mike and just transfer that over to Bree. If you want to know more about Mike's announcement, you can jump into our Facebook group and see the post that he made. But we are super happy for him to be able to do this work with his wife. I think family is the single most important value that keeps us sane in this world. And we want to make sure that he has that beauty of his family as well. So if anybody wants to give a shout out to Mike or reach out to him, you can jump onto our Facebook group and reach out to him. He would love, love, love to hear from you because he loves every single one of you. So with that said, we're going to jump into the AMA portion of it. I'm going to call up Holly. If you have any questions about anything, Mike, or the Talkadot Pro Trading 2, those are totally fair for you to ask as well. For some of us, it definitely will be like, ugh, a shock, but don't worry, you will absolutely love Bree, and we're still going to give you all the attention that you need. So with that said, Holly, jump on in, and let's get your AMA'd. That's not you can't past tense AMA, but I tried. Okay, what's up?
I just realized I was still on mute. I said AMA'd sounds like something you drink. So as I'm building and growing my speaking business, and I've got my coaching as well, and using one to promote the other and the other to promote the one, and you have a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm not good at doing with my coaching is getting testimonials and or referrals and or leads. And has anyone in your community that you know of used Talkadot for group coaching sessions? So for example, I'm getting ready to launch a 12-week program that's a new program, but the same methodology, it's just packaged differently. And my thought was to use Talkadot, and I need to go in and get the pro package. I just haven't had enough speaking gigs to do that yet. To, just like, oh, I'm going to do this. But to go do the pro package and customize those questions
Yes.
and be able to use that at the end of the coaching sessions to say, hey, did you get, value from this? What did you miss? And then the referrals and just kind of have that so that the next time I launch the program, I can also have those specific to each of the weeks versus just one big overall, Holly's awesome. Yay.
Hmm. Yes.
So has
So
anyone in your community ever used it for that something in adjacent to speaking, but not necessarily that capacity?
yeah. So that's a yes and an and. Okay. So
I
yes,
love
people have
ands.
done it. Okay. So yes, people have done it, and yes, you can use it in that format. And I would recommend, especially in the group. It's not as chef's kiss on one-on-one coaching
Oh
because
no,
it's a
I would
little
never do it. I don't
yeah,
think I would ever want to do that on one-on-one, but I'm just thinking for the group
yeah
because it's such
for the
a, yeah.
for the group. So you can do your training session, you can work them through it, and you can use it. Now, here's a couple of things to keep in mind for now, and this is the and, okay? Some of our questions are specifically designed for the speaker. So, for
Okay.
example, one of the questions is, do you book paid speakers for events? Right? Now, you might notice that all of your folks will say no, right? Or maybe they'll say, I don't know, but I assume if they're in their coaching program, maybe that's not the context they're there for. Now, in terms of the customization features, we have something on our roadmap because we've gotten a lot more requests for exactly what you're saying. So we are going to, in the future, have a little bit more flexibility for you to change wording. So instead of saying, would you like to book Holly for a paid speak? Do you book paid speakers? Would you like to book Holly for a speaking engagement? You'll be able to have the flexibility to change it to, would you like to refer Holly for coaching or something like that? So that flexibility is going to be built in. It's on our roadmap. For now, what I would consider is if these are your coaching clients, just be very transparent with them saying, I'm going to be using this tool. This is the tool that I use. I'd love to get your feedback on these sessions. You might notice that there's a question that's built in that says, do you book speakers for events? If you don't, or if you can't book me for anything, feel free to say no issues whatsoever. If you can, yes. And then with the pro account, you can add a custom question to each one of those. So you can ask a specific question about maybe that session. You can ask a specific question about, hey, what else would you like me to cover, or whatever else you'd like to do. So you can still get all of the, was this practical, was it informative, all of the different customizations of the 1 to 5 questions. And then with the pro account, you can add it. So you can 100% do it. The only, again, I'm just going to emphasize, the only thing that's going to be a little maybe strange, if that's the right word, is the question, do you book paid speakers? Because our system is inherently built for the speaker. But for the group coaching, folks have used it and they just verbalize it to their members. And then there's really no issue there.
Awesome. Thank you. And that's kind of what I was thinking, is just to kind of say, hey, this is the feedback form that I use. And it may 100% of it may not make sense for this environment, but it's a great way to get, feedback or, something like that. So it's good to know that, number one, that other people are using it in different ways. And then number two, that you also kind of have some things, coming up. So this is
We
great.
do.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is
Thank you very
awesome.
much. We're hoping to, yeah, I mean, I'll go into a long tirade, not tirade, but long, like, kind of thought process of where we're going with it. But our goal is to make it so that ultimately there's enough guardrails that you can jump in and kind of just go, but also it has the flexibility so you can make it perfect for you without, and the only caveat I give is, we've had some people be like, I want to add like 12 more questions to the survey. And it's like, don't do that. Like, let me
Right.
save you from you. That's a bad idea. No one's going to actually take it. Right. So outside of stuff like that, it's going to be really, really cool. And we have some really great stuff on the roadmap for all of you. So yes, and it's going to be very cool, in my opinion.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help, and thanks for letting me go first.
You're welcome, Holly. I hope that you stay with us and or sell a house, whichever one comes first.
Thank you.
All right. David, what's up, brother?
Hey, good morning. How are you doing, Arel?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Good. Well,
Or
so this is
afternoon.
my,
I know.
yeah,
You're West Coast?
afternoon.
Are you West Coast?
Well, I just flew from the West Coast. We hit some storms on the way back, so
Oh.
I think I got to bed about 4 a.m. last night. So I'm still
Well,
trying to recover right now, with
thanks,
everything.
thanks for joining us.
But
Thanks for joining us.
so this is my first foray into, using this at an event, a live event. And
Yes.
wow, I mean, I'm just curious, just from a benchmarking perspective. I appreciate the flexibility of being able to put up that QR code and, integrate into the slides. So the feedback was, and I'm just, want to get some feedback from you.
Mhm.
They said 98% found it valuable, the session valuable, 94% want to hear me again. I guess that's okay. And then as far as engaging, inspiring, informative, actionable, they were all around 90%. How does that benchmark compared to, I guess, what we should be expecting?
Yeah, such a great question. Such a great question. So right now, we have not created an industry standard benchmark yet.
Okay.
So what I tell and what I recommend folks do for now until we actually create that data and release it is it's better to benchmark against yourself, right? So what
Right.
you now have is your baseline. So this is what folks gave me on this. If I do this presentation again, am I trailing up or am I trailing down? Am I trailing the same? And what you'll notice is if you do the same presentation and you are consistently getting the same kinds of results, you can then decide where do you want to make a tweak. So for example,
Right.
you might notice an engaging, and I don't know if you used engaging or interactive. Did you use interactive?
I used, so was this session valuable? Was it
Yep.
engaging? Was it inspiring, informative, and actionable?
Actionable, right? So you might want to, like, what I do when I look at my data is I choose one that typically either is lower than the others that I want to increase, or if I want to try something new, I ask myself which one of these new things if I try this new thing, which one of these attributes do I believe it will increase? If I do a new opening, or if I do a new workshop or crowd interaction or something like that. So I would say less. It's about benchmarking yourselves to others at this stage, since it is so new, and more about benchmarking against yourself until we release it.
No, and I appreciate your what you're talking about, incorporating more customization in the future. I think even with the reports, that would be helpful to be able to, like, for example, if there was something really negative, be able to kind of remove that, or, hide that, and maybe just include the most relevant aspect. But
So are you familiar with the star functionality by chance?
I'm not, because again, this is just literally my first time
All
jumping
good.
in.
This is why you're here. So let me pull something up, and I'll give you an example. So I'll tell you what we do and why we do it, so you can understand the philosophy of it. So let me share my screen here. Boop, boop. Okay, so this is one of my reports from a speaking engagement that I did. Okay, the reason why we currently don't allow you to delete the negative comments is because we want people to actually believe your reports, right? What happens is if they're all 100% positive, then eventually people go, oh, well, if you can delete comments, it's like if you went on an Amazon review and you knew that the seller could delete negative comments, you would trust it a little bit less, right? So number one, that's the reason we don't allow for deletion. Now, again, if anything ever is racist, sexist, inflammatory, curse words, or something like that that violates our terms of service, reach out, we'll take care of it. But what you do have a feature to do is if you click on this view all, so notice, notice none of these have stars on them, but this one does. If I click view all, I can, let's say this person said something I didn't like and they were at the top. I can star the ones I do like. And when I star them, I move them, if you can notice on the left side of the screen, to the top of my report. So what I can do is star all of the testimonials that I think maybe represent me to somewhat push down the negative ones, but they're always available if someone clicks view all. But that's currently the way that we hope to provide authenticity, but also help you position what's most valuable to you.
No, and that makes sense. And I appreciate constructive feedback. And I would say 99% was constructive, but there might be like a little comment that was kind of not necessarily related to anything to do with the presentation. Like, hey, your hair was kind of off today, or, something like, or your picture or something needs to change, just something not relevant to the presentation.
100%. 100%.
That's kind of what I'm referring to.
Yeah, and what we've actually found is that, and again, if you find something different, please let us know. But what we found from event organizers, they actually appreciate that because they know that it's a real.
That's a good point.
They know it's not like, because what happens is when someone uses Google Forms, what event players have told us is, well, you're not going to leave anything in there that's not glowing or perfect. So when someone sees, it was cold in here, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, that's got nothing to do with me, the speaker. But then the event organizer knows, well, this is a real report. It's not been manipulated. And that's that level of trust we want to build, so that when you do provide great scores, they're not going, you only gave us the good stuff. I can't really appreciate. So that's where we're going. We're going for that authenticity.
That's
so
great.
Those things actually don't hurt as much as they help because
Helps.
exactly. Yeah, it helps. That's right.
And then the other from my standpoint, at least, maybe others have this same question.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm trying to understand. So I got, like, as far as booking percentage, 11.25% of those that I guess were leads, 11.25% were booking, 9.9% were referrals. And then it said email opt-ins, like 99.99%. There was only like one person that wasn't an email opt-in. So what does that mean in terms of booking, referrals, email opt-ins, and also testimonials? Does that mean we can use those testimonials when they're a testimonial, like on our website or whatever? Or like
That's
the
right.
email opt-ins, we can send them like a follow-up email, like there's no issue with that? And same thing with referrals and the booking?
Yeah, so this is really important. I'm going to point this out because I think you're bringing up a great question. I want everyone to know. Okay, so if I click on these three dots right here and click View Testimonial Data, and I can actually see someone's stuff, that means that they've given me permission to reach out to them. Now, someone down here, do you see how it's grayed out right here?
Yeah.
If I clicked on View testimonial data, this person said, I'm allowed to stay in touch with them, but I'm not allowed to share it, right? So they opted out of that. So if I tried to download it, you'll notice that sharing permissions are not granted right here. So what's great about that, it's great. That's right. So when you go to your My Lead section, which is right here, anyone who is in your booking, your referral, or your email opt-in has given you permission that you can reach out to them and that they've checked that it's okay. If they don't give you permission, in the report, if you clicked on if you happen to click on that person's cell, you'll notice it's grayed out and it won't even show up in your My Lead section. So for your email opt-ins, all of those people have said it is okay for you to stay in touch with me. So you can add them to your email list, your newsletter, 100% okay, because they've opted in to do so. Anyone in your booking or your referral category, the booking or people who said, I book speakers, I'd like to book you, please get in touch with me. Now, an important distinction on your booking leads. Do you see how there's like a snowflake right here and then like a warm fire lead right here? What that means is the person who's cold, they said, I possibly want to book you to speak. Okay. The person who's warm said, I definitely want to book you to speak, but they didn't give their phone, like this person here, they didn't give me their phone number, right? So if they're really interested, they're going to give me everything. Like this person here who's hot, they said they definitely want to book me to speak, and they gave me their name, and they gave me their title, and they gave me their org, and they gave me their phone number, and they gave me their email, right? So those leads, you can download those as a CSV file or email them from the system, but you'll have a sense of who's most interested in booking you based upon the actions they took when indicating their interest. So booking, you reach out to see if they want to book you to speak. Referral, you reach out to get introduced. This is someone who said in the survey, no, I don't book speakers, but I'll introduce David to someone who does. So this is where you want to see, like, do they have a friend or a family member? Are they, maybe it's for their company, but they can't make the decision themselves, but they want to be a champion. So your job is to figure out where their status is and reach out to them in that way.
So if it's light blue, so I have one that's like kind of a darker blue testimonial, and then another comment that's like a light blue. Is that one you can use as well, or is it only the gray ones you can't use, or can you use?
No, so the light blue and the dark blue, let me just share my screen here. So you see how this is a dark blue and this is a light blue?
Yeah,
that's just a design element. There's nothing, that's just so it's easier on your eyes. If this was, let me just star this one so you can see it. Oh, I can't even star these. So all the ones that did not give me permission to share their testimonials publicly, I can't star these and bring them to the front. I can see them when I'm logged in, But if I share this report with someone by clicking share, and then I do copy report link, and then if I go to like a incognito window and share it, and then click view all, those people at the bottom won't, like, you can't tell here probably because you haven't memorized, but basically those messages show up for you, so you have the feedback,
Yeah.
but they don't show up publicly because they didn't give permission for their messages to be shared publicly.
So as long as we can share it publicly, we can take that quote, and if we know their name, we could literally put their name and their quote on our website and say, hey, this person gave, we don't have to say they gave us permission. We can just put it on there because they already gave us permission.
That's 100% correct.
That's
And
a really nifty tool, man.
yeah, man,
I
I'm so
tell
glad.
you.
I'm so glad you can see that. That's exactly right. So what I've done, if you go to my, and I'll just show you real quick. Yeah, so everyone's giving you permission, so it's totally cool. So like on my website, like
Yeah.
here's a picture of like a speaking engagement that I do, and then at the bottom, here's what people had to say about that speaking engagement.
Right.
So I can just copy it, throw it in there. You can use it however you'd like. They've totally given you permission.
Now we can't necessarily, though, we can use their words, but we can't, like, let's say they have a picture on LinkedIn or whatever, we can't use their picture without permission from them directly.
I would ask.
Picture.
I would ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
definitely feel comfortable putting their name in that. But once you start, so there's like name, image, likeness. NIL is like the sports term. So
Yeah.
if someone, and 99.9% of the time, they'll
not
say
an issue.
yes.
Yeah.
They'll say yes. Yeah. You know, but some people are like, ooh, I don't know, you know, and I always respect it. But yes, you can
Right.
use those testimonials however you like.
Okay. Great.
Welcome
Great
to the
tool,
family,
man.
David. Welcome to the
Yeah,
Talkadot
no,
family.
I
Happy to
mean,
have you here.
Great experience. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. All right, we got Maggie Jean.
Hey, Arel. Good afternoon. Yes, it's afternoon. How are you?
Doing well. Did I say it right, or is it like Maggie Jean? Did I say it wrong? Is it Maggie Jean? Maggie Jean. Okay, I want to make sure I'm saying it right.
Hey, I just wanted to come back and say thank you so much for the first training I was on. It has done me well, even though I was kind of not all in. But I used my QR code on 3 webinars that I had, and it turned out very well. So I
glad.
felt the need to come back and listen to you again so I could get more information, and I could use that tool to really move myself forward in 2024. So I came back specifically to say thank you. And my last 3 webinars, very good results. So thank you, RL.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Maggie Jean. And that's, you know, it makes me so happy when folks get to use us and using the tool in speaking engagements, webinars. You have lots of different options, group coaching. So you have those options. So I'm so happy that you're using it in a format that's getting you great results, Maggie.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, just spraying sunshine is what you're doing, Maggie. You're just here to spray some sunshine. I appreciate that. Andy, what's going on, my friend?
Hello, first-time listener, first-time caller, and
I was waiting.
from,
No one's ever done that, Andy. I've been waiting for someone to do that. Long-time
Yeah.
listener, first-time caller kind of thing. Thank you.
That's right.
You make
And so,
personal dream
yeah,
come
so
true.
I'm from Orlando, Florida, and I've been speaking for a long time, 17 years. And I was with Kiwi Live for probably 5 years, and it was awesome for me. So I got kind of a quasi demo from a friend of mine on Talkadot. So I honestly think I just had 2 questions. I haven't tried it out on the free version or anything, but I was looking at the pro version. So my 2 kind of questions, one of you might have already answered. So you're working a little more on trying to get us customization on questions. And is there any timeline on when that might be, if I want to take out this and even change a few words? Hey, instead of speaking engagements, hey, if you're interested in XYZ instead, you know when that might come about?
Yeah, so here is the funny thing about programming. So I'm going to give you a very honest answer. I don't know if you've ever gotten like a patio worked on or construction of a bathroom, and they say, hey, it takes 4 weeks to do the bathroom. And then in reality, it's like 12 weeks. That's also what programming is like, from what I've discovered over the last 2 years. So it's on our timeline. We're hoping to have something probably Q1, Q2 of next year, and having work. So it's on our priority list. I can't give the exact, like, I'd love to be like February 1. We got you, buddy.
Yeah.
You can do customization of questions with the pro account. So those 1 to 5. So I'll show you real quick. Hold on. Let me pull up my flows here.
Well, that's good, because I didn't actually know that. And I talked to this guy like 2 or 3 months ago. So yeah, if I can customize getting through the pro version, would be great.
Yeah, so with the pro version, these questions here, was this actionable? Was it engaging? Was it interactive? Was it inspiring? You can change those questions. We have a word bank here. So when you go to add another Talkadot code, I'll just do Andy is cool. So I can change those questions here on the pro account to make it so if I don't want something that's maybe I don't do I don't know inspiring talks because I'm a very like powerful speaker, so it's not about the inspiring, it's about the practicality maybe, so I can change it to practical. Then I can add a custom question with the pro account. So if you wanted to ask a question like, hey, are you interested in my coaching, or what else would you like to learn that I didn't, you can do that right now with the pro account. What we hope to be able to allow you to do in the future is when you go here, for example, do you book paid speakers or events? We've got a lot of feedback that some people are like, hey, I'm not interested in paid speaking engagements. I'm more interested in consulting clients or coaching clients. I'd like to change this question to something like that. We're looking to have the ability for you to change it. Right now it's built so that it's what's called hard coded. So it's kind of on these rails and it has to be that. That type of customization will be coming out in the near future.
Okay, so I can right now customize one question, and then that question I might be able to change in the near future.
So the additional question you add, like you can make it anything you want. So you could say whatever you want it to be. But the other questions we have in our system, the 1 to 5 questions, you can change what things 1 to 5. And then the 2 questions that are baked in, which are, if you had to describe this session to a friend or colleague, what would you say? And anything else Andy or the event organizer should know, those are baked in and those have to be asked.
Okay, cool. So the second question, super important, is I'm trying to picture my resources at the end. So do they, someone said that you get like one PDF or one link or one resource that you can give instead of, you can't really do 3. And is it a PDF? Can you do a PDF? Can you do a link? Can you do, what can you do with, and is that changing to hopefully be more than just one in the future?
Yeah, great question. Great question. So here's how you would do it. Number 1 is when you create your slide on step 3, that's where you can give away whatever it is you want to give to your audience. Now, the way it's currently built, you can either type in a link here like that, and then it'll send people to that link, or you can click here and then upload something there. In the use case where someone's like, I got multiple things I want to give away, I recommend doing one of 3 things depending upon your skill level. Number 1 is just create a Dropbox folder and upload the things that you want to give away to a Dropbox or a Google Drive and send them there. Or what I did, and again, this all is depending upon your ability to do stuff. I created a web page. So I put this web page into my giveaway here so that when people are done, and on this, it's got a 1-page summary of what I talked about. It's got a video summary of what I talked about. It's got access to the research paper. It's got an image that people typically want. So I took all the things that people typically would want, threw it onto one web page, and then gave that web page away. So if you wanted to give away multiple things, you can either create one Dropbox folder or a web page that has all of them there and then throw them on there. And then the benefit of that too is that people can like, oh, geez Louise, I got to fix that. My discovery link isn't working. Okay, that was sad. That should be working. But you can throw on other stuff you want on your website there.
Yeah. You said there was 3 options: the Dropbox or Google folder or the web page, which I thought of that already. Now probably go that route. That makes sense. Was there a third option?
The third, I was gonna say Dropbox or Google Drive.
Yeah, okay, that's 2 options. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just dependent upon people's like knowledge level of.
So more than one resource. I'm going one of these things and just give them the link to wherever I put those things.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And someone put in the chat that they use Linktree. So like Linktree is an option that I've seen people use. That's like, go here to get this, go here to get this, go here to subscribe to my podcast, go here to download my thing. So that's a great option. And you put one link and send them there.
Cool. Thanks. Whoever submitted that. I'll write it down. Check it out.
Tracker.
All right.
All right. I always think, oh Lord. So Andy, I can't remember if it's Tracer or Tracker. Now I'm feeling all self-conscious because we already went over this. Can you tell me how to pronounce that so I don't hate myself in the future?
It's Tracer.
I knew it. I knew I went in the wrong direction. It's like longitude and latitude. I went in the wrong direction, Tracer. I am sorry. Forgive me.
All right. We'll get it eventually.
Mistake of the head, not the heart. Mistake of the head, not the heart.
Right.
Thank you. Herman, what's going on, brother?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you?
I'm on top of the world.
Love it. Love to hear that.
Hey, you and your Talkadot speaker format for speakers to track their engagements and their audience is amazing.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a new speaker. I'm speaking tonight on a webinar. You know, someone has me as their guest.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I was on 0.5, so I just did my 0.5 on your program to get included. And I was on your video and it was time for you to come on. So I made the slide with the QR code. So I'm not doing it. So how do I should I suggest to the person that's doing the webinar to include it?
Are you sharing slides or are they just interviewing you?
I'm just speaking.
Yeah. So what I would do,
talk.
yeah. So if you're just giving a speech and you're not using slides in your webinar, what I would do is just either and do you have a relationship with the person interviewing you or is yeah. So I would just tell them, hey, at the end of my talk, I want to pull up this slide. Ask them, is it easier for you to pull it up or can you give me co-host and then you just share it? So what would happen is, like, let's say you were hosting it and you were interviewing me and then I was done with it. I would go, all right, everyone, thank you so much. Like me and you are just on video. I'd love to get your thoughts on this presentation. So I'd like for you to go ahead and take out your phones and scan this QR code right here. So I just shared my screen at the end and then they could go ahead and give me that feedback. Now, this is an important detail that's going to make your life easier today that I learned the hard way back in the day. And I want you to learn from my mistakes, okay? And that's why we created this feature right here. When you go to your slide, right? So let's say this is your slide. If you click on these 3 dots on your dashboard, you see where it says copy code link right here? Go ahead and copy that. And then when you are asking for feedback, share, oh, hold on. Oh, that's, Lord have mercy. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. So when you ask them to give you feedback, also post that link into the chat like that. Do you see how I did that? And tell people you can either scan the QR code or click on the link in the chat. Now, I want to give you 2 reasons why this is very important. Reason number 1, if somebody is on the webinar on their phone, they're not going to be able to scan the QR code because you can't scan the QR code from your phone if you're on your phone. So if you put the link in the chat, they can click on it with their thumb, and then they're going to be able to go exactly to the same survey they would go to if they were scanning the QR code. The second thing to keep in mind, and again, I learned this the hard way, if I type in talk.ac/Arel, it's not a hyperlink, okay? If I put in http talk.ac/Arel, it is a hyperlink. That means you can click on it. So just make sure that when you paste that link in, you make sure to include the HTTP or the HTTPS :// in the front, because if not, then the person has to press and hold, copy it, open up their internet browser, paste it into their internet browser, and you're literally, just because of that, going to lose people from giving you feedback. So make sure to post the link in the chat in addition to showing the slide, and you'll be good to go. And again, just ask your host, is it okay if I share the slide at the end? Or they can do it on your behalf. Either one is fine, but just make sure to have that link ready so you can paste it into the chat.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome very much. And not that I need to be more confusing. I just want to cover all my bases. The last thing that I'll share is, let's say and this is for everyone. Let's say you're like, oh man, I'm doing my virtual training and I forgot to copy the code, or like I copied it, but I didn't paste it and then I forgot it, whatever it might be. This code right here at the bottom, you could just have someone type in http //talk.ac/Moodie. I can go like this. And if someone clicks on that, you just tell them, enter the code FREEDOM, and you'll be able to get access to this cool thing or that cool thing. So if you notice that this link here, it's got some extra sauce on the end. It's got the question mark with the word code and equals and hero. That's a little code, little snippet that we add so that our system knows to embed the code on the screen. But if you don't have that or forget it, if you just type in your generic link, which is on the bottom of every one of your slides, just have your audience manually type in the word freedom or whatever your code is, and they'll be able to still access your survey and get the stuff you want nonetheless. So I don't know if that was helpful or confusing, but you have options is what I'm trying to say. You have options. Cool. We all good, Herman? Okay, thank you, brother. Sharon, what's going on?
Hi, Arel.
How are you?
We met before.
We have met before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm, delving into the speaking space more and more. Do you have any tips or advice in the newsletter side of things? Because
Yeah.
after you do something and that it sort of accumulates, and I mean, like looking at all of your database, like that's just a whole trove of people that you can continuously ping and message. Like what is, just more in a general sense, like how do you look at that?
Yeah, so I look at a newsletter functionally in a few ways. The first way is my job is to provide value on whatever my topic is first. And then I always do a call to action at the end of every email, right? So if my call to action is, in my case, getting booked to speak, I'm going to send an email that's like, hey, did you know this is a great way to handle these challenges and problems, and here's a great solution. Or I made a video about it, click here to go watch it. Or I did a post on LinkedIn about it, click here to go read more. I do something that's of value around my topic. And then at the bottom of it is, if you're looking for a speaker for an event, click here to schedule a call to talk with me about it. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Best, Arel. So it's value and then always a call to action. Now, sometimes you just want to do a call to action. Hey, everyone, I'm booking my speaking engagements for 2024. We've got some availabilities in March. You've probably maybe seen people post like this on social media. At least in my network, I've seen this post a lot. Feel free to reach out. So I could do a direct ask. And then the other thing is to catch people up on what's happening in my world. I just finished speaking at this event. It was so awesome. Here's who brought me in. Here's the things we covered. Here's why it was so great. Then you throw in something personal. I'm a big fan of adding stuff that makes you seem human. So I was just with my dog Checkers, and I learned how to put a little kibble on his nose and he bites it. Watch the video of Checkers doing it, right? So it's like 85% like updates on my professional life. And then I throw in just something to let them know I'm a human, So if there's a hobby you have, and what's fascinating, and I don't know why this happens, I get more people who reply about the personal stuff than they do about, they're like, oh my gosh, you have a dog? I don't actually have a dog, but like if I were talking about my kids or something like that, my kid was in a karate tournament and they're like, oh, your kid does karate, my kid does karate, and that's a moment that you have to build a relationship and a connection. So it's basically value, small call to action, straight call to action, or update on your life, and then update on your professional endeavors, and then update on your personal endeavors. And that's like the format. So you just put the value out there.
How often would you send these?
Wonderful question. This is such a highly debated question in the world, right? The simple answer, which is the worst answer, is it doesn't matter as long as you send them. That's all that matters. Some people are daily, some people are weekly, some people are monthly. The most important thing is that it's of value. I have the philosophy that if you can write something of value once a month is your cadence. If you can write something of value once a week, there's no rules that say once a week, once a month, once a day is better or worse. What's more important is consistency. And then everyone will have their own philosophical approach on why daily is better and why weekly is better, why monthly is better. And then you just got to kind of choose what fits in for you.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got Kirby. What's up, Kirby?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I can't complain. So I wanted to ask about trends that you noticed toward the end of this year and how that's informing your planning for next year, because we're kind of coming off of this wave of virtual to back in person, and it was kind of like taking a sip out of a fire hose. And now people are valuing that in-person experience more. But just curious, as you're booking things for 2024, any trends that you're noticing or things that organizers are asking for that have been helpful for you?
Yeah, so we're gonna dive deeply. I'll give you an insight into this. We're gonna dive more deeply into this on our Wednesday pro training. So Wednesday at 4 p.m. for our Talkadot Pro members, we're gonna be doing year-end planning and planning ahead. So we're gonna dive really, really deeply into it. But some things to cover is in-person is definitely king right now, for sure. Hybrid, not so much. Virtual is still there, but not nearly as prolific. So one of the things that's interesting is, and we'll talk about this on Wednesday, a lot of people did a lot of effort to create like a virtual speaking reel, or like, let me create my demo and show that like I can play in this world. What we're seeing is like, now people want you to kind of have, what can you do in person? So for example, my demo reel was all virtual and nothing in person. So I just updated it to have in-person stuff because I was like, well, it's not applicable as much anymore. Does that mean people are still booking virtual? Yeah, they are, but not, like you said, not nearly at the level that they're doing in person. So that's number one. A trend that's like an unfortunate trend, in my opinion, is DEI is getting hit really hard. DEI is not, like a couple of years ago, everybody was a DEI speaker. Everyone was like, oh man, I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars in this DEI world. And maybe that's the reason why it's like, maybe there were a lot of unqualified people who came into the space and kind of like sullied it. But a lot of my friends, unfortunately, who do DEI stuff, their calendars have cut tremendously. And it may or may not stay the same. I don't know. I think the presidential election will inform a lot of that personally. I think it'll inform kind of like what the national vibe of it is. But that is all to be seen. But I think those topics are pretty hard. Topics in general that are well beloved are anything that helps me predict the future better. So you see a lot of people use the term future proof, like future proof your company against this, or future proof your company against that, or future. So I think taking anything that you can say, hey, I can show you how to get a step ahead is really, really, really valuable. And if you look at a lot of the top speakers, not that you're as geeky as I am, but I do like go to other people's websites and study them and try to see what they do. You'll see that term future proof used quite often. So if there's any correlation to the work you do to that, I would consider going like, how to future proof your business against some calamity, like a recession or people leaving or talent. And then the other thing that I've observed, which is really fascinating, we're not fully there yet, but this is like the first time in a long time that we're at, I think never. I think we've never, okay. We are not in a recession. I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying we're in a recession. We're not in a recession. We're kind of close to it though, but we have full employment. There's never been a full employment recession in the history of the world. So what's happening is it's harder to keep talent because there's like, more people are hiring than there are people who want to work. So we're kind of sort of moving into this recession-y vibes, and hopefully we don't get there. But a full employment recession is insane. Like if you think about it, the reason we have a recession is because nobody's working. So if there's anything you can do around that, like to help people on the retaining, the preparing for a potential recession, people run away from pain very heavily. So if there's anything you can do to help people like prepare or run away from or mitigate pain, and to talk into that kind of language of, listen, lots of people are losing jobs like in the tech world. So it's not like it's not like everyone's employed. I'm not saying that, but more people have jobs than we have people who want to work in them right now. And that's a strain and a drain on lots of people. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in that space. So that's a very long way of saying those are the trends that I've been seeing.
Great. No, that was an awesome answer. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome, Kirby. Happy to help. Samantha.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. My husband did his Christmas thing with peppermint marshmallows that he makes, homemade peppermint
Ooh.
marshmallows.
I don't think I've
And-
ever heard that sentence in my life.
Oh, I'm telling you,
So,
so good. They're so good.
Shout out to your husband.
I want to get a little more fluffy.
This is my eggnog season, by the way. Like, I look forward
Oh.
to like hitting the gym hard just so I can just drink
Yeah.
a quart of, hands down, the worst drink. If you want to have the least healthy drink in the world, eggnog, but most tasty. It's like that.
Well, you may find that peppermint marshmallow is really good in your eggnog. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to explore that because I've never explored that.
Send me your address. I'll send you some. And caramel corn. Oh, it's terrible. Anyway, that aside, as you can tell where my mind is going right after this.
Snack City.
I'm gonna go get me some hot chocolate. So this, you may have answered this before, but I'm still a little struggling. I need to create a speaker reel. I've got some different, different qualities of videos from different speaking that I've done. And I could just go, I guess, hire someone somewhere that they can squish it together and make a speaker reel. But I'm on the more beginning side of my journey. And is there a formula or something that I can make sure, like, show this? It should be between this long and show these things. This is what people are looking for. This are the questions you want to answer when you're doing your speaker reel. So that's what I'm trying to pick your brain about.
Are you joining us on Wednesday at 4 p.m.
Yes.
by chance?
Yeah.
Good, because we're literally covering all of that.
Oh, well then I won't, don't say any more. I'll just go have cocoa.
We're gonna have a guy named James Kolb, who is just an absolute, like, when I say genius, when it comes, all he does is speaker demo videos. All he does is understand the science of it. He did mine. I love my new video. He's excellent. So we're gonna break down all of those questions and then give you the opportunity to ask, well, how do I handle a situation with like different qualities and all that stuff? So he's gonna literally give you the whole formula, everything he does. And then from there, you'll be set. So join us Wednesday. We're gonna go over what makes website, all right, so like what we're doing Wednesday, just real quick promo for Wednesday. So if Talkadot Pro, please join. It's no cost to Talkadot Pro. It's free. You get this as a pro member. And if you're a light member, go ahead and upgrade to pro. This session is going to be super valuable, I promise. We're going to be talking about strategy and planning, but we're going to have a website expert who's going to say, why do certain websites convert? How do you look at developing it so that they're higher converting websites for speakers? And then we're going to do one specifically on speaker demo reels, and then one on planning, assessment, and creating your plan for 2024. So that's what we're doing Wednesday at 4 p.m. for all of our Talkadot Pro members, no cost to them, outside of your Talkadot Pro membership, which gets you access to all that fun stuff. So I'll see you Wednesday and we'll get that covered for you.
That sounds great. Is that all going to happen in 1 hour?
Probably 90 minutes. Probably 90
I
minutes.
bet that's right. I'm going to make that baby a
minutes.
little longer. So that's a lot. Thanks.
Yeah. You're welcome. Hopefully it's helpful. If we go if it's, my fear is like, I was like 30 minutes, like, let's do the full shebang. But like, if it gets cut down, like, we'll like extend it, maybe have them come back or something like that.
Okay. I've never been to one of these trainings that hasn't been super helpful. So I think you can take that. I think you can take that statement off the table. They're always great.
Thank you so much. We try to do our best for our unicorn community of speakers. I'll see you then.
The training is definitely worth the investment.
Yeah.
Plus, we get software with it, but the training is
I mean, I'm just saying the software is pretty dope. I'm not saying it's pretty dope. And then we try to be supportive along the lines of making you successful with the software. We care about you, is what I'm saying. We care about you. And Samantha, you got to bring marshmallows with you on Wednesday. So just be prepared. You got to we can't eat them. We just want to see what they look like. Because in my mind, I don't know if they're striped, if they've got like sparkles on them. I don't know. I can't visually. She's going to go get them. She's got them there. Other questionerinos, please go ahead and raise your hand like so. As I hope Samantha's getting marshmallows. I never heard of anyone home making marshmallows. I don't even know what you do. How do you make a marshmallow? I don't even know. Mike, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good, man.
All right, question for you. So I had a friend reach out to me who's currently using Talkadot, and she wanted to know whether there are plans of supporting other languages.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this has been, I don't want to say a boon. I don't even know how to use that in the right word. Like, not a thorn in our side. So here's the current thing. So the simple answer is yes, 100%. We plan to support what's called localization. Localization will mean you'll have the ability to use multiple languages, and depending upon what country you're in, sign up in your currency, right? So what's awesome is we got users, like I just got an email from a guy in South Africa who's like, dude, I'd love to use your thing, but the dollar to the South African currency is 20-1. It's not great for us. And I was like, oh man, I'm like, so the reason why it's currently not set up for multiple languages is we're still making adjustments and changes to the tool. And when you make an adjustment to a change, then you've got to change it in all of the languages, it's a whole thing. So what we want to do is really dial in, and with this customization aspect that we're building, we want to dial in the programming of that. And then once that's dialed in, we want to layer localization on top of that. Instead of, imagine like writing a paper in English, and then like it's 10 pages long, and then you wrote it like in like 12 other languages, and then you realize there's a typo on page 6. So then you got to make that change there and then change it on all the other ones. It's like you can do it, but you'll hate yourself. So just tell them, and I'm probably giving you more than you should know, but tell them yes. And that's the reason why, stay with us. We're on there. We get so many requests for Spanish, and we just can't service just yet.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Feel free to DM me to person so I can be like, hello to them. Michael Pope, you good peoples.
Ready?
All right. I think, Sandra, did you have oh wait, hold on. Samantha.
Uncut the butts, which of course I put in my mallows. And then he cuts them. Look at
Those are great. Look at that.
There you go. Uh-oh. The flowers come.
I've never seen a homemade marshmallow. It's
there.
phenomenal.
Now you can see the peppermint on the top.
How did you do that? Did you just spit red on it? What did you do?
Well, yeah.
I didn't process it at first. I'm sorry. I didn't visually process what I saw. I'm caught up now. I apologize. You didn't spit on it. It's just the licking of it brings out the red. I get it now. I got it.
They've got like the what is it? It's stuff on it to make it not stick together.
Like flour or powdered sugar?
No, I can't remember what it is. How did I do this? I married a guy who did it. Oh,
smart.
Cornstarch.
Cornstarch?
No, it's
yam powder?
What
I'm
is
just making
it?
up words at this point. Cow powder?
I'll think of it maybe after we hang up.
THC powder? Not gonna. That's personal. You do whatever you want to do. No judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment.
Cocaine powder, they're amazing. I just want more.
Well,
No,
that's a little extreme.
sorry.
That's. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hold on. Someone just DM'd me. Hold on. Shoot me an email or your question. Okay. Yeah. If anyone has a question and you can't come on video, feel free to throw it into the chat. Or shoot me an email. I'll throw my email here. Oh, one of the things that I love to do, by the way, so this is my email. Feel free to email me whenever. One of the things I love to do, and it makes me so happy, is to get connected to y'all on the LinkedIn. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to throw that. If you don't mind other amazing speakers in our community of unicorn speakers connecting with you, please throw your LinkedIn URL into the chat. Or maybe you're an Instagram person, or maybe you're a TikTok person. I don't really know. Is any of us on TikTok? Like posting content, living on there? I feel like if you're over 30, you might go on it, but you're not trying to be I don't know. No judgment. If you like TikTok and you like to post on it, that's fine. This is my impersonation of TikTok. Ready? Here it is. That's I'm old now. Now I'm making fun of young social media. I apologize. And I shouldn't do that. I'm being an old guy talking about when I was my day, we was using AOL screen names and I had a buddy list. And if you liked the girl, you put her on her own buddy list. You don't know nothing about that because you're a young boy. That's like how old people would talk. All right. I probably have lost a lot of respect from y'all. Like it was high. We started out high and then it's just slowly just diving. But we've got great LinkedIn URLs in the chat here. If you have any other questions, we got a couple more minutes before you hit the middle of the hour where we're done. But for all of you, please join us Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for our Talkadot Pro training. It is going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait to bring out guest experts on and help you with our decision-making matrix. There's a very specific decision-making matrix that I love that helps me move my particular businesses forward. I can't wait to share it with you. It's one of those personal things that lots of people don't get to see often, but I think is actually very helpful, and especially with us as speakers. What I love about our community is that we're all lifting as we climb. We are people that realize there's enough pie for all of us. There's going to be events that Michael Pope Jr. is going to get, and then maybe I'll get it next year. And there's events that I might get, and then maybe he'll get it next year. And listen, at the end of the day, if you get 50, how many more do you need? Like there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people booking speakers every year. So like the best speakers that I love, the best speakers that succeed, we realize this. I pass business to people, people pass business to me. It's so wonderful. So I want you to look at the speakers in our community, never, ever, ever as competition, but as people who can help support you, that have ideas, that have strategies, that have ways of seeing things that you may not see. And we lift as we climb. We lift. There's enough room for all of us. I know lots of, I have a good friend, actually just went to go see her speak. Her name is Brittany Hodak. She's an awesome female speaker. If you aren't familiar with, she's an awesome speaker in general, but she, I think, is one of the top in the customer experience space. And all of her speaker friends are in the customer experience space too. So it's so fascinating to see that she can do so well, be mentored by people and mentor people all in the same space, because there's so many companies out there. And I get to go there and support her. I'm a speaker, she's a speaker. It's all wonderful. So just remember, that's who we are. That's what we stand for. And Samantha, before we go.
What was her? Brittany Hodak? Is that what you said her name was?
Hodak.
Yeah. Okay. I'm familiar.
Mm-hmm. She's a rock star. Yeah.
One day I'm going to have you saying that about me.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Apparently
Say it right now, Arel. Say it.
You listen, everyone knows Samantha Irwin's a rock star. Okay. let's call a spade, a fact. We know she's a rock star. Okay. So that's no question. And apparently, by the way, it's potato starch and powdered sugar mixed with a 50-50 blend makes marshmallows not sticky, according to Samantha. So her husband knows what he's doing. Now let's just set the intention that we're going to have a live event one day, and there's going to be peppermint marshmallows at that live event. Not compliments, we'll purchase them obviously, but Samantha Irwin's husband will be making marshmallows for us one day. You know what? Maybe we should set that intention. Maybe we should do a live. Maybe we should. I don't know if people will show up, but maybe we'll do something in person somewhere. It will be fun. Maybe we'll do it in Vegas. Maybe we'll go to the Vegas Sphere. It's a very affordable city to get to. They got wonderful. I don't know. I'm just riffing at this point. All right. I love y'all. I'll see the rest of y'all. Talkadot Pro members Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you there. And if I don't see any of you until next year, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. If this is the last time I see you before 2024. And remember that 2023 was a great year, but 2024 is going to be the best year you've ever had, considering every single other year wrapped up into one. 2024 is going to be better than that until, of course, 2025 happens. And then, of course, until 2026 happens. So I'll see y'all later, and peace and love. Remember, if you have speaker friends and you like them, tell them about Talkadot. If you don't like them, tell them about Google Forms. I'll see you later.